quick video on how to deal with a breakup when you kind of got pulled into a relationship. You didn't really want to, you wanted to take it slow, but for whatever reason that person was keen, you speeded things up, you went along with it, and now the relationship's broken down and now you're hooked on the person. You ever had that when you're actually not particularly bothered by somebody, like you're like take it or leave it, and somehow you end up, the tides turn somehow, and you end up falling for someone who didn't really float your boat in the first instance? And if you find yourself in a situation where now you're weak at the knees, I get so, that's the song, weak at the knees for this person and the relationship, and now they've pulled the brakes, and now you're fuming because you're attached, and now you're pining for the person, or you can't help but think about the future plans and the hopes and dreams you had for the relationship, and you're finding it difficult to let go, then this is my 3 tips for you. Firstly, you need to audit your phone, go through your phone, either delete the pictures, the memories, or archive them. But that's one strategy that you can follow to help you. So audit your device in terms of pictures, anything that's going to trigger you. Additionally, I would encourage you, secondly, to potentially use the block feature if you don't want to have contact, or actually if you feel like it's in your best interest to not have contact, because sometimes we have to learn to guard ourselves, and I use the block feature as a way to protect me from me sometimes, because we all have weak moments. And peeps, we've got to learn to be our own best friend. And in situations where you may have been dumped, or the relationship has come to an abrupt halt and you're not happy about it, or maybe you've brought the relationship to a halt because there was some weird behavior that you thought, uh-oh, this is a potential problem, then I think using the block feature is beneficial to you. Yeah, but you have to make that judgment. Lastly, are you a perpetual rescuer? Are you someone who tends to go from broken person to broken person? And if that's the case, then this relationship will be functioning at an emotional level. So when a relation functions at an emotional level, cognitively, you'll think, logically, you'll know this relationship doesn't work for me, I want to lock it off. It's right to lock it off. But emotionally, you're still pulled, you're still living in the fantasy about your hopes and dreams and how it could have been. This is my encouragement to you. You have to get logical. There was a song called Let's Get Physical. Let's get physical, physical. This is going to be called Let's Get Logical, yeah? And I know how difficult this can be for heart-led people. I'm a heart-led person myself. However, sometimes being purely heart-led has led me into a whole heap of problems. And so now, as a 41-year-old who doesn't really want to go through the highs and the lows, I'm looking for steady. I think it's really important that we get a mix of logic as well, because if we just let our emotions take over us, then we can cause ourselves harm. And so I encourage you to write down the 3 reasons why the relationship broke down, because a part of you will be living in your fantasy about how the hopes, the dreams, the aspirations for the relationship. And it's likely that you've also grown attached, which is why I always encourage people, lock them off quick, lock them off in the morning, because by the time we go attached in the afternoon and the evening, it's far tricky. When you see nonsense behavior, name it in the morning. Don't be naming it at night time, because by then we're usually attached. However, if that's the situation you're in, that's the situation you're in. But one of my encouragement to you would be, sometimes we have to act logically in spite of how we feel. Sometimes we need to access our logical mind, because being led purely by our heart is not helpful for us. And if you need more assistance on that, if you need some advice, encouragement, do consider buying my book, Why Love Hurts and Why Self-Love is the Key. You can find that on Amazon. That's just one way to help you, but definitely I would firstly encourage you to do an audit of your phone. And if this topic speaks to you, if you're someone who's battling with your intimate relationships and you need assistance, do consider coming to my Feel Loved workshop, which will be happening at the end of September if you're based in the UK. We're going to be exploring all things in relationships and the 6 themes that I continuously see that hurt people, screw people over, and often means that we sell ourselves short. Now, if you're going through a heart dilemma and you need help, inbox your girl Keeley. Take care of you.